And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
Man who walks him around, he's all alone to fall all the way down.
Way of training, and once you explain that, can you do pretty much the same thing that the Hogan did? Kind of explain what got you into the business and who helped you to get started in there. But I'm interested to know myself, how in the hell you get to look like that? You jack, bro.
Man, this is coming from somebody who's twice my size. Man, I'm trying to get like you, brother, man. You see those arms right there?
Well, all you gotta do is get fat, bald-headed, black, and ugly. You look just like me.
Well, I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
Monty and the Pharaoh, #1 wrestling podcast. Yeah, when it comes to podcasts, they are the cream, the crumb. Yeah, dig it?
Heartless man. We don't need him around.
As promised, this is the holiday edition of Motch-0-Mandays, yeah. With Christmas music and all, right there, yeah. Hall & Oates. Outfit. Liking my, Motch-O claws, yeah, Motch-O claws, styling, yeah, for this time of year, man. Check it out. Check it out, man. I am better looking than Santa Claus ever was. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Mrs. Claus has been calling me up on the Motch-O phone. Yeah, and she's been trying to get me to come up to the North Pole and keep things warm. Yeah, but I told her, yeah, I can't do that to Santa, man. That's my boy, you know what I'm saying? He didn't always give me everything I wanted for Christmas, but that's okay, man. We're cool. Everything's good. Everything's copacetic. Everything is okay, yeah. Now, this episode, like last episode, may be broken up into parts. Number one, because I just came from the gym, and my phone is not charged all the way. I spent a lot of time before going into the gym doing a Facebook Live, and then I was working out with my music on, and so I got like 60% battery, and I got it plugged in right now, but I don't know how well that's gonna work. So I'm gonna do a little bit now, and I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna do a couple things, let the phone charge, and then maybe do maybe I'll do a second part 2 with my elf helpers. Yeah, Buddy and Daisy, my helpers, my little elves. Yeah, they like to be on the video scope. But every week I try to come up with something to talk about, man. And sometimes it's not easy because sometimes there's not much going on upstairs, yeah. But somehow I always end up with a topic, and I start there, and then what ends up happening is it's it kind of snowballs into something else, you know what I mean? It's like something will be said, and then that kind of segues into something else. So, the idea that I had in my head to start things off was kind of in a way, piggybacking off of the things that I had spoken about previously. So being that this is the holiday season, being that this is the giving season, I wanted to talk about something. Yeah. Wanted to talk about something that you may or may not be aware of. And if the letters LOA sound familiar to you, there's a reason why. Because LOA stands for Law of Attraction. Yeah. Now, not everybody believes in the same thing. And maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you're sitting there like, oh man, not this, not this crap again. I've heard this before, man. You know what I mean? And maybe you're one of those that's like me, who is a total believer and see no other way that it can be than by the law of attraction, man. Yeah, it's a law. You know what I'm saying? It's a law like the law of gravity, man. Nobody's denying that. You know what I'm saying? Go jump off a building and see if you don't go all the way to the ground. I didn't say that. I don't want nobody suing me saying that I gave that kind of advice. But I'm going to break it down for you, man. I'm going to break it down. And being that this is the giving season, man, you know what I'm saying? And everybody wants something for Christmas, okay? You don't got to ask nobody for nothing, because you can manifest it yourself. Check this out. In a way, it really ties into Christmas, because let's think of it in the way, let's think of it as like asking Santa. Asking Santa for something. Remember when you were a kid and you would ask Santa, man, and you would, pretty much pray to Santa. You would ask him, and you would write letters to the North Pole, and you'd ask him for what you want. And that is really no different than how the law of attraction works, man. It doesn't matter. By the way, the law of attraction, if you need a moment to look it up, you could also Google The Secret. The Secret was a book and a movie that was put out to basically explain what the law of attraction is. And if you haven't seen the movie, I suggest watching. I'm sure it's on Netflix or whatever streaming type deal that you have. I have it on a DVD. And I actually had the, before the DVD, because I found out about the law of attraction back in 2007, and I'll take you on a journey of how I found out about it. It's pretty interesting. The law of attraction actually introduced me to the law of attraction. Very, very interesting stuff, man. You gotta have an open mind, and that doesn't mean that I'm full of shit. It just means that you gotta know that not everything that's real, now you won't understand, you know what I mean? You won't understand it. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that it's not the real deal, you know what I mean? I'm sure that you don't understand how the law of gravity works, you know what I mean? But it works, and you don't need any proof except for the fact that if you fall, you fall, you know what I'm saying? You ain't floating nowhere unless you're in space, okay? And space is the place, yeah. But, so let's look at it as, let's start with praying, okay? I'm not going to do a prayer. I'm not religious. If you are, that's cool, because it doesn't matter whether or not you're religious, not religious, you know, whether you pray to God, whether you pray to the universe, whether you pray to Buddha, whether you pray to Santa Claus, whether you pray to the genie in the sky, you know what I mean? When you rub the magic lamp, you know, it doesn't matter, man. Basically, it's all saying the same thing, man. It's all, you could call it prayer. You could call it just asking the universe for what you want. And if you really believe that that what you want can be attainable, if you really believe that you deserve it and that it can happen. So you can't just wish for something, you know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, I wish for $1 million and manifest it. You got to put the work in, number one. But number two, you can't just say it. You have to believe it. You have to have a passion for it, want something so bad that the universe knows, man. The universe knows how you feel about it, because it's almost like you're obsessed with this want or this need. I mean, there have been stories of not even like tangible things, but like people with their health, you know what I mean, putting it out there into the universe, man. And it's almost like I said, you know, you could call it a prayer or whatever, but basically what you're doing is you're asking for what you desire, not what you want or not what you think about, but what you actually feel. And if you feel it, it's puts a lot more power behind it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like let's see, how can I put it? Like, there's like analogies that will say like okay, there's people, you know, on the religious factor, on the religious end of things, that says, you know, to let go and let God, right? Same concept, man. When you want something, you put it out there, and you don't have to worry about how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, what you need to do to make it happen. You don't need to know none of that. All you need to do is feel it in your heart. Be really sure about what you want to manifest. Put it out there and just let it go, man. Let the universe, let God, let the genie, whoever, let them do that part. That's not your concern. You don't need to worry about that part. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm going to use some of the things that they say in The Secret in case you have seen it or you're going to go check it out, which you really should. But it's like ordering from a catalog, you know what I mean? Or, you know, in this case, like going on to Amazon or eBay or something, and you order something up, right? And you place the order, you put in all your information, and you just know from there. You don't got to worry about it anymore. You know in a couple days or weeks or months, depending on how deliveries are going at that particular time. But the deal is that you don't have to do nothing. You don't have to check on it every day. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to order it up again and order it up again. You place your order and you just let the rest happen. You don't think about it, but it ends up on your doorstep, doesn't it? It's like that, man. You know, and people don't understand how easy it really is to obtain what it is that they want in their life. You know what I mean? But it's not one of those things that you just wish for. You know what I mean? You can't just, you know, say, oh, I wish I had this car, and then like wake up and be like, oh, why is that car not in my parking spot? You know what I mean? You gotta want it so bad that in with your thoughts and it's a lot more than your thoughts, man. It's like your feelings towards what it is that you want. And I'm living proof, man. I'm living proof that the law of attraction is real, man. You know, I might have been skeptical in the beginning because, you know, when you first hear about it, you're like, you know, that sounds like some type of, you know, hokey type sci-fi movie type deal. You know what I mean? But then you realize, man, well, if that's not it, then what is it? You know what I mean? If that's not the way the world works, then how does it work? And so I started to dig more and more into it, and it just started to make more and more sense to me. And I think it will for you too, man. No matter how stubborn you are, you know, if you don't have the answers, which nobody does, you know, look at this as just with an open mind and an open heart. You know what I mean? Just know that when I give you a couple of examples of how it's worked for me, and how it all, you know, became, how I even found out about the law of attraction, man. My story's pretty amazing, and I'm going to share the whole thing with you. Just want to make sure that I don't run out of battery, so I'm going to give you this little introduction, charge my batteries up, maybe do a little wardrobe change for, you know, another festive, seasonal, you know, holiday season type of deal. And, you know, keep it fresh and entertaining and looking spiffy as I always do. But we'll start off right now with, I'll tell you the story of how the law of attraction was introduced to me. And it's funny because, you know, when you start, well, even before I go there, man, here's the deal. Like, as you get older, I feel like more and more people somehow know about the law of attraction. It's almost like it just comes to you at a certain point in your life that all of a sudden, somehow, some way, that the law of attraction makes sense. And you don't even know, some people don't even know about the law of attraction. They've never heard of law of attraction. They've never heard of The Secret. But somehow in life, you know, life is like a lesson, man. And it's like, you know, it happens for some people, it happens early on. For some people, it happens later on. But at some point, you get this like clear vision of what life is and how it works, and why certain things happen, and you know. But you'll notice, whether you notice it in yourself, that all of a sudden, when I tell you about the law of attraction, if you've never heard of it, you're going to be very surprised that you're going to be like, whoa, that's the way that I think. I didn't know that there was, you know, a name for it. I didn't know there was such a thing. But you'll notice that other people around you also, that you could be talking and, you know, and they know of the law of attraction and have no idea how they know what they know. It's almost like you wake up one day and all of a sudden, man, it's just like, it was just like planted in your brain. And that's why you'll hear a lot of people talking, and you'll hear a lot of people saying the same things, like, you know, everything happens for a reason, you know, and they'll say that, you know, God has a reason for this and that. Everything, like I said, man, it doesn't matter if you say God, universe, you know, big, you know, purple, how you doing? Little, you know, big, you know, purple unicorn in the sky. Whatever, man, whatever your belief is, it doesn't even matter. You know, maybe it's the big Motch in the sky, you know what I'm saying? Flying high, yeah, with angel wings, man, and maybe that's who you, you know, believe is making it all happen. That's cool, doesn't matter, man. All that matters is that it's the same, you know what I mean? It's the same all the way around. And, all of a sudden, man, you'll realize that you'll be gravitated towards people that that have the same ideas of what life is and why things happen, and that everything does happen for a reason, and they believe in karma, and their whole way of like thinking, and their whole way of you know, looking at the world and looking at life is a little bit different. But it's weird, man. It's like, you know, more times than not, you'll be having a conversation with somebody and you'll be agreeing on something that you have no idea why you have the same idea of what, you know, the basically the answer to, you know, what is life, you know what I mean? What is the purpose of life? What is the, you know, what are you sent here to do? What is your, you know, your purpose on this planet, you know? And I'm sure a lot of you right now are either, you know, shaking your head like, yeah, you know, damn, how did he know? You know, is there such a law, a universal law? You know, is this guy a mind reader? You how does Motch know? And I ain't no, I'm no mystical character, you know what I mean? I just know, suddenly I just know what I know, you know what I mean? And if you're not a believer and you think that what I'm talking about is absolutely crazy, that's all good, man. That's cool, because somewhere down the road, something's going to happen and you're going to remember this video and you're going to go, man, that weird Macho Claus guy was right. Now I get it. And it really is amazing, man, how, like, I would be talking to my brother and he's never heard of the law of attraction. He's never heard of The Secret. And me and him having conversations, man, was almost like, he was aware of it. You know what I mean? He just didn't know that there was, like, such a thing, but all of a sudden his way of thinking and his way of, like, understanding is suddenly the same as mine. And I know all about, the law of attraction was actually introduced to me because I had no idea. Okay, here's where we go into where the way that I found the law of attraction, okay? It was back in about 2007, and I was living in Louisville, Kentucky at the time, and so it might have been 2006, 2007, right? And I was taking a trip to Florida to visit my dad, and I remember, I was down at OVW trying to get the contract, and it wasn't happening and wondering why, and I had no idea, man, you know what I mean? Like, I had no like explanation of, like, of life, how it works and why I was down there and why I wasn't getting signed, and, doubting myself, and, just kind of like having that question in my head, like, what is this all about, man? What is this life thing? What is it, man? What's the deal? What am I supposed to be getting out of this? And what happened was, let me see if I remember, I was getting on the plane, and it was either coming back, no, it was going there. It was going to Florida, and let me see, there was a guy who was intoxicated. I'm trying to remember now. He was intoxicated, and he was kind of like kind of like harassing some of the women, just being belligerent, like, and he's getting on the plane or whatever. I think that he was coming from Vegas or something, or, there was something mentioned about Vegas. Maybe his connection, maybe he was coming from Vegas and his connection was, I don't remember, but I know I wasn't living in Vegas at the time, but I just remember that this guy was kind of, he was coming back from his trip where he was partying, and he didn't think the party was done yet, you understand? So, I remember the girl in front of me, I think getting on the plane, there was a girl in front of me, and then the guy was in front of her or something. And I guess he had told her that they're sitting next to each other, that he was looking at his ticket or whatever. And I forget how it happened, which is kind of like, this is like the mystical part of the whole thing. But the bottom line is what ended up happening is she asked me if I can switch seats, or the person that was supposed to be sitting next to me, I don't remember how it was, but somehow I ended up sitting next to this girl because she didn't want to sit next to the guy who was being belligerent. Somehow, I don't know, I traded seats with somebody, something happened, I don't remember exactly the details of how it happened. I'd have to really, like, sit down and try to remember, but all I know is that I ended up sitting next to this girl who I wasn't supposed to originally be sitting with, or sitting next to. But I ended up sitting next to her, all because of just the way that it worked out. This guy was drunk, somebody, was able to switch seats, blah, 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 whatever. And we get on the plane, and we're sitting there, and we start talking, and it just felt like I knew this girl. Like, it was a very, like, familiar type of conversation, man. It was just like, and I'm not that relaxed when it comes to, like, meeting people for the first time and, having a conversation with them. I kind of like, if I'm on a plane, I kind of don't want people to, I don't like strangers kind of like, striking up conversation. I just kind of want to, whatever. But, she was pretty, so maybe that had something to do with it. And, we just start talking, man, and she brings up this whole, this thing, The Secret, and the law of attraction, and, look it up, and, she just starts talking about it. But for some reason, I wasn't like, okay, like, what is this? Is this some kind of like, because you get people sometimes that are trying to preach their religious beliefs on you, or trying to push, whatever. And, but it was just really, I can't explain that. It felt like I was sitting next to somebody that I already known for a long time. And we were just kind of like, shooting the shit, having a good conversation. And she, brought up this law of attraction thing to me. And wasn't trying to push it on me, but she was telling me about it. And then she was, telling me I should, like, research it, you know what I mean? This and that. And, there's actually this book out, and it's called The Secret, and there's a movie, and, all this stuff. And, so that was like the majority of, then I started asking her questions and stuff. And, that was like the majority of the conversation, the whole flight. And we actually kept in touch, man. She lived in Florida, not far from where my dad lived, so we actually did get together while I was there visiting my dad. And when I went home, it was like we kept in touch, man. We ended up becoming like really good friends. And I remember one thing that she said about the law of attraction is like, when you believe in the law of attraction, or when the law of, whether you believe it or you don't believe it, when something keeps coming up in your life, when something keeps on, like repeating itself, you keep seeing the same thing over and over again, or you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, that is a sign telling you, like, that happens to everybody, you know what I mean? Where you'll keep on, whatever, man, seeing the same color, or, hearing the same, whatever it is. And that's the law of attraction, man. It's like, there's something that you should be paying attention to. So your mind already knows, you know what I'm saying? So there's a reason why I was introduced to this girl, and why she introduced the law of attraction. And when I got back to Louisville, Kentucky, I remember going through the channels, man. I was just, up one night, flicking through the channels, and I saw the Oprah show. And as I'm clicking, man, it was like right at the right time where I saw something that said The Secret. And it was the panel of the people that spoke on the movie The Secret, because they had different people that were believers and whatever, explaining and had studied the law of attraction or whatever. And I'm like, whoa, there's that thing, you know what I mean? Like, I just heard about that, and now it's popping up again. And then I remember what she said about, that things will keep popping up, and then there was a couple of other incidences where I think, something happened, something one more time had mentioned the law of attraction or The Secret or something. I just remember it, coming into play again, and I went, you know what? That's what she was talking about. I've heard about this now 3 times. Okay, now I know that what she was talking about has got to be real, because it was like she put it in my head and then it just kept on popping up, which means that the law of attraction was introducing the law of attraction. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right, you know what? I ordered up the what were they? The CDs at the time. Yeah. Now this is going way back, remember? So I had the CDs, and I would listen to them as I was doing cardio, because I had one of those CD Walkman type deals. They didn't have this is before those iPod things or whatever they call them, So I'd have the big pouch there with the Walkman thing, which I think I still have it. Actually, I think it's in the car somewhere here. I don't know why. But so I'm doing cardio, and I would continuously listen to these. It was like a four CD set, whatever, and I would continuously listen to it, and it would tell give you a certain homework assignments kind of thing, where there was something called a vision board, where you take a bulletin board or whatever, man, and you cut out pictures of out of magazines or whatever, of things that you want to manifest. And so I did that. There was a couple things, and I was just kind of testing it out, writing things out in the present tense, and gratitude was one of the big things, and that's the same as any religion too, man. Gratitude is it doesn't matter what religion, man. I'm telling you, if you look at the law of attraction and you look at any religion, they're all the same, just worded differently. So you'd write out, I am what was it? I am thankful for and whatever, my thing was getting signed, you know what I mean? So my deal was I'd write out I am so happy and thankful for my WWE contract. I am so happy and thankful for my my 69 Dodge Charger, you know what I mean? Now I'm mentioning things that never came true, okay? But in the next installment, because I'm going to end this one pretty soon and do the second installment, where I talk about the things that I did manifest and the things that did happen. And I think that'll really blow your mind, and that might convince you, man. If you're a non-believer, man, after I tell you some things, you're going to have no choice but to believe, because there ain't no such thing as coincidence, and it's the only logical explanation for the things that I have manifested. Okay, so I want to make sure that I remember where I leave off here, because when I come back, we're going to go into the things that I have made happen without even knowing it, because a lot of these things that I manifested, I was using the law of attraction before knowing about the law of attraction. And you probably are too, and you have no idea that you are. And when things aren't going right for you, you're not using it, and you don't realize that you're not using it. And I'm going to explain all that's going to make sense by the end of this whole Motch-0-Manday holiday episode. I think it's very fitting that we're talking about this on the holidays, because it's all about, the giving season and things that you want, and, and giving and gratitude and all that, man. So this really ties right into the whole holiday episode. So I am going to leave this one here, and possibly I gotta find another fun holiday fashion to look at, to entertain you with. So we're gonna leave it here where I left off, where we're talking about the things that the vision board and writing out in the past, you know, in the future, in the present tense, of the things that you want, and you could do that, man. Like right now, you know, if you want to take me up on that challenge right there, man. Write out some of the things that you want, and this is very fitting for New Year's, man. For you know, for New Year's resolutions or whatever, man. Don't just make a resolution, expect it to happen. You know, write it out. You know, I am so happy and thankful that in 2022, my health, you know, had gotten better. That I got that raise. I got that Christmas bonus that I really needed, or you know, whatever it is, man. Writing it out it gets deeper into the universe. And the vision board, it's all about taking it from here and putting it out into the real world, you know, where it's like a tangible thing that you could actually like look at, and you could read it, and you could look at the vision board every day, and you could read your gratitude statement of, you know, of all the things that you're thankful for. Maybe start there, because when I come back, I'm going to tell you some of the things that I did put out on a vision board and did write out as the things that I'm grateful for. That, some of the things didn't happen. They're not all going to happen. Maybe they're not going to happen right away. Maybe somewhere down the road they're going to happen. Maybe I didn't really want it as bad as I thought that I wanted it. So I wasn't really, I was just thinking it and not feeling it. So it didn't happen. But I'm going to share with you the things that did happen, and I think it's going to blow your mind. And I will be back to tell you all about that in just a minute. Stay tuned. Yeah. Jingle, jingle, all the way. Yeah. I'll be back.